Washington, D.C.
If you compare, for example, Ghana's debt, they signed up for the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Act where they have a debt of about $4 million. Now, if you compare that to the tens of billions of dollars that the American government and the UK government are currently in, actually, Ghana isn't a heavily indebted poor country. So should we really be still using these labels on African countries? Because in a way, actually, that's oppressing the people by having these labels put on them.
There's huge diversity in Africa. There's no doubt about it. And labels, by any means, saying that I'm American, I was born in Uruguay, it doesn't help. So labels are violent in the sense of that there are a lot of diversity that you cover up. Ghana is a country that is seen as a leader in Africa, and it should. I know that from the World Bank perspective, it's an honor to work in Ghana because it's one of the countries where it just seems to work. People want to do the right thing. And I understand where you're coming from.
So what I'm thinking is that in theory, actually, if you do compare the figures, America is heavily indebted compared to Ghana. If you're a Ghanaian and you're constantly being told you're a third world country, you are heavily indebted, you're this and you're that, in the thinking of an everyday Ghanaian, you're going to be thinking that you can't compete as well, whereas compared to somebody from the outside who doesn't have those labels put on them, you don't have that bringing you down so you can go out and you compete and you're more...
It's possible. It's outside my area of expertise. That goes into more in the area of sociology. But there are a lot of countries that have been able, to Chile, going back to Chile. I'm not from Chile, so I'm not trying to promote my own country. Is a country that used to have that label put on, but the Chileans got their act together and really pulled forward. And there are a lot of examples. Sure, I think it's maybe a disadvantage, but it's not one that would actually prevent you from moving forward. I know Chile rather well. I know what it went through in the 1970s. I know where it is now. And it's a country that was able to overcome, it was also in high debt and had crises of its own. It's a country that's been able to overcome those particular barriers that you are mentioning, which are probably correct.
I just got one quick last question. A lot of discussions today have kind of been about making Ghana more self-sufficient, increasing manufacturing industries in Ghana. In terms of the World Bank's relationship with Ghana, the World Bank gets a large majority of its income from other countries, which everybody is aware of. If Ghana was to become more self-sufficient and imported less goods, would that not be a conflict of interest with the World Bank? Because then the countries that are giving it its money wouldn't be exporting as much, so they wouldn't be able to put as much money into the World Bank.
No, I don't think that... I would not pursue an import substitution policy. I wouldn't be in favor of that. But I don't... Thank you very much.
We want everybody to come on board with that.
Can I just ask you something? You mentioned in your speech at the front about Ghana becoming more self-sustainable and creating more industry, so it's less reliant on import of goods. In terms of Ghana's relationship with the World Bank, doesn't that go against the conditions of the World Bank in terms of the World Bank's relationships with the countries that input the money into the World Bank? It has a duty to keep Ghana not as self-sufficient so that the other countries can still have their trade with Ghana.
So why send us money and make us poor? You put money into agriculture, and then at the end of the day, your fruit, agricultural products go waste and rot. Within the WTO agreement, we can assess certain facilities to make sure that our industries will have priority over imported goods.